what a 24 hours it has been. The Islamic folks who try to have an exclusive water park event, Muslims only, has been caught red-handed. And it's amazing how many people dismissed this. I mean, people on the comment sections of my discussions, my short videos, my long-form videos, my podcast, people have said, this is no big deal. Anybody can rent it out. This is no big deal. Any religious group can rent it out. Okay. So if another group wants to rent it out and say, whites only or blacks only, how do you think that would go? There are 5 protected classes. We're going to get into this in a minute, but right now Governor Greg Abbott, as you've heard, undoubtedly, is now threatening to withhold $530,000 to get it back in public safety grants. He also is threatening to forego any more grants whatsoever from the state if the city of Grand Prairie doesn't get its act together. I'm going to get into that in a minute. Number 2, there is an Islamic guy who went and spoke at Wiley ISD, and all the stuff we're still exposing at Wiley ISD with the complete Islamization of Wiley ISD. There is, and it just goes on top of all the stuff with the Grand Prairie Water Park Muslims Only event. I got so much for you on that. But this guy who was going after and calling people like me and all the people that spoke out against the Islamization of Wiley ISD is Islamophobes and racists and all sorts of stuff. Wait till you find out who this guy is. Because it appears he tried to hide who he really is when he spoke at the Wiley ISD school board, calling people like myself and parents and students that were speaking out against it's unbelievable, passing out Qurans, hijabs, and understanding Sharia pamphlets. Who was it that lashed out at me and others at this event? You have to see. But first, this show is brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSprob.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, tax planning strategies, helping good people with IRS problems. My CPA, Randy, I'll be seeing him tomorrow at his office, Dallas-Fort Worth. Randy's my friend. He's been my CPA for almost 10 years now. Now, I want to say this too. My son's 23rd birthday is going on right now. We're about to celebrate. I have 29 minutes, and I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it in 29 minutes. Here we go. The Muslims Only event. They have changed it, but it is all a joke. Here we go. Okay, so you see on this graphic on the top right, Muslims Only. See it there on the top right? Muslim Only event. And if you look down at the bottom where you have all the specific bullet points, look at that. Muslims Only, a family-friendly environment for Muslims only. And then a little lower, closed to the public at the bottom, Muslims only. This is no different than saying whites only, blacks only, or only Jews, or, here, I got the list of protected classes, but first, they changed it to this. Watch this. First of all, before I flip to it, see top right, Muslim only. Down towards the bottom in the middle, you've got at the second from the top for Muslims only, a family-friendly environment. You go down to the bottom, close to the public, Muslims only. Look at what it says now. Wow. Top right, instead of saying Muslims only, it says modest dress only. Go to the bullet points in the middle. Instead of it saying for Muslims only on the second from the top, middle, bottom bullet points, instead of it saying Muslims only, for Muslims only, I should say, a family-friendly environment, it says come and celebrate Eid with us. All are welcome. From Muslims only to all are welcome. Oh my gosh. It's unbelievable. What else does it have here? If you look to the very bottom, instead of it saying closed to the public, Muslims only, there's no more, here I'll go back. If you look at the very bottom of the sheet here at the bottom of the advertisement where it's got the cross, the red, no sign, it says close to the public, Muslims only. Now, at that same bottom, it says respectful environment, private prayer. It is all taken out because we have to ask ourselves a few questions. Is this because they want no-go zones? The governor, and you'll hear from him in a moment in his statements, the governor explicitly said that he signed into law. It was about Epic City, the Epic City, East Plano Islamic Center City. And by the way, this event is also Epic Mosque. It is insane. And I was talking to my son about this because, and if you look at the advertisement, look at this. Doesn't matter which one it is, the before or after. But look, they rented this park out. How much do you think it costs to rent the third largest water park or the third greatest water park in America? 80,000 square feet. How much do you think one day to rent it out, not only rent it out completely, but also to pay for insurance? This is why the tickets are $65 and $55. And let me tell you something else. Epic Mosque itself probably does not want to fork out, I don't know what, 200 grand, 300 grand. I don't know what the cost is for one day. And so they have to make sales to, and they were trying to make sales to only Muslims throughout Dallas-Fort Worth. But they can't do that. So here's the deal. I plan on going. I don't know about you, but I plan on going. Not to raise hell, not to do anything inappropriate, but to go and to check it out and talk to some people, maybe do some video footage and this and that, maybe do some interviews. I don't know. But it is not closed to the public because it is illegal. Now, the question is, do they do it intentionally to have a no-go zone? Or do they know it's illegal and did it anyways and flout it? This is their third event. The city of Grand Prairie, for 3 years in a row, has violated federal and state law, at least federal law. You cannot discriminate. And here's the protected classes. I looked this up. I mean, you know these probably already, but listen closely. There are 5 protected classes. And where did they go? They're in this pile. Here we go. Race, color, religion. Think of how many people on this feed, on other social media feeds, have been saying it's no big deal. No big deal. What are you talking about? Anybody can rent that event. You can have your church can rent the place. Yeah, but we can't say Christians only. We can't say Jews only. Can't say whites only. Race, color, religion, sex, including sexual orientation. You can't say no gays or gays only. A gay bar can have a gay bar, but it can't say no straight people coming in. Gender identity, can't say no transgender people. And national origin, can't say nobody from Somalia is allowed to enter into this facility. Now, law does say you can, for example, ban gang colors at places like a bar, which a bar is not private, it's privately owned, not publicly owned. But this is a publicly owned event. But there's certain things you cannot ban as well on that. So the modest dress only also, who's going to be saying what is modest and what is not? Who will be the judge? Will there be a Muslim imam standing there looking at the women and looking at men like you and me and saying, you are not modest enough? Why? Sharia law? Can't do that. Governor Greg Abbott said today, you are going to cancel this event, City of Grand Prairie, or we're going to lose $530 grand and every single public safety grant that is going to happen in the front. You get none of it. Now listen closely. The mayor of Grand Prairie is being aloof, disingenuous, and a fool because he said today, I don't know what he wants from me. Here. This is from Brandon Walton's reporter for Texas Scorecard. Mayor Ron Jensen tells me he is not about to try and guess what will satisfy the governor. First of all, it's not try and. You don't try and do something. You try to do something. Get your grammar straight. Number 2, Mayor Ron Jensen, you are an absolute lying buffoon, in my opinion. I'm not about to try to guess what the governor will satisfy the governor. It's freaking obvious. Cancel the event unless you want to bow to Islam and violate federal law and potentially Texas law. The city still has not said whether it'll be canceled. I got 22 minutes before I have to stop this podcast to go have fun with my son and wife and daughter on his birthday, 23rd birthday, baby. UTD graduate, 4.0. GPA, speaks Japanese fluently. Okay, let's see here. Let's go on. Who is putting this event on? This is a woman named Dr. quote-unquote doctor. I don't know if she's a doctor. Dr. Amina Knight. Here she is, and she runs, apparently, according to Sarah Gonzalez from The Blaze, a daycare center. And look at how she said it is a excellence early learning center. Look at the top left. It's a little bit darkened, but excellence Early Leering Center. Here it is zoomed in on. Look at this. We have another quality Leering Center. She runs the Excellence Early Leering Center. This is the woman who apparently wants to run our country and our state like an Islamic government. No kafirs, no Muslim non-believers are allowed. And the question is, are these folks that are doing this, are these folks doing this on purpose? To knowing it's illegal and thinking they can get away with it? Are they doing this to flout our laws? Or do they just not know? I don't believe they don't just know. I think they know. And I think this is the way they want to roll. And this is where we have to bring the hammer down peacefully, but we have to bring the hammer down legally. And if you don't want to assimilate, if you don't want to follow our laws, get out. If you want to discriminate against non-Muslims, get the heck out of this country. And I would say the same thing to somebody who wants to discriminate against Jews or Christians. Get out. So welcome to America, Dr. Amina Knight and Epic Mosque. Welcome to America. Get in line or get out of this country. Get in line or get out of this country with your Leering Center. Here's the dress they want you to wear. Now, this is a burkini. No American woman that's not a Muslim is going to wear this crap. You cannot kick us out or our wives out for not wearing this crap. You ain't going to kick my little 9-year-old girl, which my daughter's older now, but you ain't going to kick a 9-year-old girl out of there because she ain't wearing one of these things. That is complete religious discrimination and insane. So Grand Prairie's going to cancel this, or they're going to lose tons of money. This event it is not going to happen, and it better not happen. If it does, I'm going. Not to raise hell, not to do anything stupid, but to go and document it and ask a lot of questions. Let's get into some of the specifics now on this. More than 530,000 state grants is what's being threatened. They called it Muslim-only event, says Texas Scorecard, or for Muslims only, closed to the public, Muslims only. I mean, this is insane. This is an intentional unwillingness to assimilate to this country. Epic City wants to have a Muslim no-go zone, a no-go zone for non-Muslims. They want to have a Muslim city. Same thing with Sustainable City USA. I don't believe that one's canceled. We'll get to that later because I only have a certain amount of time tonight. The governor's public safety office told Grand Prairie Mayor Ron Jensen the event appears to violate constitutional protections against religious discriminations, and he doesn't understand this. How many people, as I said earlier, said, what's wrong with this? What's the big deal? Anybody can rent it. That's the same thing a 17-year-old girl said on CBS 11 when the whole Wiley ISD passing out Qurans, hijabs, and understanding Sharia pamphlets in the high school. That's the same thing a 17-year-old white girl said to the news outside in the parking lot. She said, I don't understand what the big deal is. That's how you lose your country. That's how people refuse to assimilate. That's how people make no-go zone. That's how we become Europe. And the Islamization of Texas and America happens if we allow this kind of stuff. This is insane. They want to violate our civil rights. They're openly wanting to violate our civil rights. The governor's office says this event purports to be public-facing and discriminatory at the same time. All Muslims, but only Muslims, may attend. Epic Water's owned by the city of Grand Prairie, funded by the taxpayers of Grand Prairie, a 1/4% sales tax, operated by a private management company. They replaced Muslim only with all are welcome. Well, then guess what? We're all coming. Are you coming? I'm going. Modest dress only, which again, who's going to decide that? Who's going to be the judge of that? Is it going to be an imam? Are religious people going to judge what I'm wearing and they're going to tell me what I can wear? Hell no. Hell no. If this somehow event goes through, then I think a lot of us peacefully, lovingly, but firmly need to go and show up and wear what we want to wear. The organizer's website makes matters clear, saying this event is closed to the general public, the website. At all times, attendees must dress in accordance with Islamic values. This entire thing is discriminatory. If there were any doubt to the meaning, the website dispels it, says Texas Scorecard. The entire water park has been exclusively reserved for Muslims. Is this Islam? Is this Islam in America? Does Islam in America come in, take over, and discriminate openly against people? Is this Islam? Because if this is Islam in America, I and most of us do not want it. Do not want it. If you want to come in and violate our laws, don't come here. And if you don't like it, leave. I remind you, Epic Mosque, East Plano Islamic City Mosque, Islamic Center Mosque, is the one behind this event, Epic City, and the Islamization of that whole area of Plano. Grand Prairie currently has 5 active grant arrangements with the state. Governor Abbott gave him 5 days because the event's supposed to happen June 1st. 5 days. May 11th to confirm in writing they will not allow the event to occur on city-owned property and that it will not permit similar events in the future. If they refuse, he warns he will terminate the public safety grants and may require repayment of previously distributed funds. Amen. And bar Grand Prairie from receiving future grants from the governor. Please. From the Dallas Express, the governor's letter did say, what if it said whites only? Which is the same thing. Would Grand Prairie allow an event that was privately held saying whites only? There's no difference. Race, religion are protected classes, among others. When the city accepted the public service, public safety office grants, the city manager agreed to comply with all state and federal civil laws. They are not complying. They are violating this. And they were also told to, when they agreed to the agreement, to not discriminate. Website also said, while men and women are not separated, we ask all attendees to uphold Islamic etiquette. Attendees, we ask you to practice haya, which is Islamic apparently for modesty, through respectful behavior such as maintaining personal space and lowering the gaze. Lowering the gaze. Look down. Look down. Unreal. It since has been changed to read, while men and women are not separated, we all ask attendees to uphold Islamic etiquette. You cannot do that. That's discriminatory. Just as they do in other mixed gender spaces, please follow the event's modest dress code and practice haya, modesty, which again, that's some Islamic thing. And maintain personal space and lowering the gaze. We must trust our community to help represent or preserve a spiritually mindful, welcoming atmosphere for all. So they're still violating a lot of stuff on that website, according to the Dallas Express, last time they were checking it out today. Meanwhile, the New York Post is all over. Everybody's all over this. Post-millennial New York Post. Governor says, I signed HB 4211 into law banning Muslim-only no-go zones in Texas. The city must cancel this event. And that was about Epic City, but it also applies, the governor says, to Grand Prairie. And this is the funniest joke of the day. Event organizer Amina Knight, the one who I told you about, who runs an Excellence Early Leering Center. Excellence Early Leering Center, apparently a daycare center. She said to the New York Post, she did not mean to exclude non-Muslims. Did Muslims only, over and over again, Muslims only. Oh, I didn't mean to exclude non-Muslims. You're a liar. Is this what Islam is? Lying? Violating our civil rights? Is this what Islam is? Is this the only way Islam can run in our country, is by violating our civil rights and lying? If so, don't come here. The core intention behind this event is to create a space where individuals and families who have modest dress and modest environment can come together and feel comfortable, blah, 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 blah. Okay, so I'm going. If you want me to feel comfortable, I'm going. Again, not being nasty, I'm just saying I'm going to go. This is funny because the Post-Millennial said the first hint that the broader public is not really welcome is language explaining that any woman wishing to attend must wear burkinis, which I showed you those. Any woman attending must wear a burkini. That is absolutely not going to fly with our civil rights. Unbelievable. So, that is that. I have a little bit more. This is also from the Dallas Express. Grand Prairie had not commented on whether it reviewed the event's exclusivity policy before doing the booking. So maybe they're going to try to blame this on somebody with the private company running it. But by the way, this is from I think a magazine that interviewed this lady who operates a Leering Center. Where is she again? Here she is. Dr. Amina Knight. Again, I don't know what her doctoral degree is and if she has one, but she was interviewed about this, and Dr. Knight said, quote, "So if you are a friend of a different faith who wants to celebrate Eid holiday with us and adhere to the modest dress code, this is for you too," all caps. Considering the rising number of Islamophobic incidents, which is a lie. I'm going to give you anti-Semitic incidents through the roof. Jews and Muslims are close in population in the U.S., but Jews are disproportionately attacked for anti-Semitism, way more than Islamic attacks. Way more. All are bad. It's way more in the Jewish community. This is the lie that is promulgated. Considering the number of Islamic incidents, especially among Islamophobic incidents, especially among Texas lawmakers, Knight's core statement was to ensure nothing was misconstrued. Oh, it wasn't misconstrued. Muslims only. No kafirs, no non-believers. I will not allow something beautiful and well-intentioned to be turned into something that is not. You are a liar. You are Muslims only. You are caught. You change things, and you're still lying. Is this what Islam is? Lying and excluding and violating our civil rights? Is this what Islam is? Speaking of that, the claims of Islamophobia. No. Here it is. Assaults against Jews reach 46-year high. This is in the news today, and it's not a coincidence. This is the truth. Islamophobia and incidents, and that they're much more prevalent, or there's tons of them, is a lie. It is a lie to take advantage of you, the freedoms of this country, and to Islamicize this country when stuff like that is printed. Assaults against Jews reach a 46-year high. Physical assaults against Jews, U.S. last year, highest level since 1979 from the Anti-Defamation League. Almost 6,300 anti-Semitic incidents in 2025, third highest year on record. 203 anti-Jewish assaults, up from 196 in 2024. Those assaults involving deadly weapons up from 23. 3 were killed in this country from anti-Semitic attacks. Oh my gosh, if this event is still put on, I am going to wear a yarmulke. I have one still from my friend's wife. My friend's wedding. Skull cap, a kippah, I think it's also called. And I'm going to get a Jewish star. Even though I'm a Christian, I'm going to do that. That'll be interesting. I'll wear my kippah, and I'll have my Jewish star, and I'll have my freaking camera going. Yep. How much do you want to bet I'll get some really nasty looks, or God knows what worse? Capitol Jewish Museum. Here's the 3 homicides on Jews from anti-Semites. Capitol Jewish Museum, the 2 people shot and killed. Molotov cocktail at a rally for Israeli hostages in Boulder, Colorado. The Islamist illegal migrant who killed and firebombed and burned a Jewish woman who died. A firebomb also hit Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence while he was inside. The first families inside, they're Jewish, and the fools on the left try to use that as like a right wing thing. And CNN mentioned that Manu Raju had a graphic about all these things trying to show that Republicans or conservatives have just as many hate incidents. They do not. That was a rabid anti-Semite, pro-Palestinian, crazy leftist who firebombed and tried to kill the governor and his family. This coming in tonight from Yael Jacoby, I believe a Jewish Israeli that I follow. The federal court has granted Governor Abbott's request to see the list of donors to CARE because Governor Abbott branded them and labeled them properly a terrorist organization, a foreign terrorist organization. They are. CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in U.S. history in Richardson-based Holy Land Foundation, raising $5 to $7 million to murder Jews, pretending it was for Palestinian aid, but it was for Hamas, Hezbollah types to slaughter Jews in the streets in the Middle East. Several of these people were convicted and sentenced to prison for decades, and CARE was on wiretap colluding with the Holy Land Foundation, and they are an unindicted co-conspirator. They then sued after the case was done, and they sued to get their name removed as an unindicted co-conspirator, but from the FBI, the DOJ, from the trial, and the judge says, hell no, you are, and you always will be, an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in United States history, CARE. They are a terrorist organization. Now, speaking of that, oh, by the way, here is Dallas Morning News covering this, the water park in Grand Prairie. And here's what they do, because they're total hardcore leftists. And they say anti-Islamic rhetoric in Texas and across the U.S. has surged in the past year. according to a report by the not-for-profit Center for the Study of Organized Hate. Yes, can you say left-wing hacks? The center traced the current wave of Islamophobia to a single tweet from Governor Abbott in 2025, in which he amplified a post calling Epic City a Sharia city, which is exactly what it is. So, no. Here's the Dallas Morning News lying and crying Islamophobia, and here's the truth on the attacks on Jews at the highest record in 46 years. Truth versus a lie. Quick thing on Athena Strand's family. I got 7 minutes. I'm going to do this. Quick thing on Athena Strand's family. DA James Stanton, who did a great job of putting her killer to death, said they feel like it's justice. Athena's family has been waiting on this day since November 30th, 2022, almost exactly 4 years. Praise God that he got the dirt nap, and hopefully it'll come quicker than we expect. He'll be transferred from Tarrant County Jail to death row in Huntsville. And his defense attorney says it's impossible for him to get a fair trial. Maybe he shouldn't have done what he did to that beautiful little girl. It's his fault, not ours. The DA said you want to be excited, but obviously that has to do with the death of another human being, and so you're metered in that respect. Yes, this whole thing has been, especially talking to Rebecca Lopez from WFAA TV Channel 8 for so long yesterday on my podcast, sobering, quieting, and very serious, dramatic, and everything, and horrifying. And a poor little girl. Keith Self. I'm about to tell you about this guy from who supposedly is still leading care for DFW in Austin, who showed up at the Wiley ISD school board meeting. You have to see this, and he attacked all of us, saying that we're Islamophobes, haters, all sorts. It's great. We'll get to that in a second. But Keith Self, congressman from Collin County, evidence is exposing the fact that North Texas, he tweeted today, is ground zero for the growing influence of Sharia in America, and that's true. The development of a master plan Muslim enclaves like Epic City, rebranded as the Meadow. The opening of a Muslim college, which I talked about in last night's podcast, branded as Texas American Muslim University. A taxpayer-financed water park in Grand Prairie, Texas, playing host to a Muslim-only gathering, rebranded as a modest dress code event. Call them whatever you want. These people have no desire to assimilate. This is true with these things he just mentioned. We know their playbook, and this is very true. Victimization, play the victim card. That's exactly what CARE got caught in, being a co-conspirator with the Holy Land Foundation. CARE was caught saying this. We need to wage jihad. We need to use the media. We need to use the laws of this land and the freedoms to wage a nonviolent jihad to take this frickin' country over. That's what CARE said on the wiretap, as reported by the FBI and the DOJ, not me. He says, we know their playbook. Victimization, play the victim card, followed by intimidation, absolutely, by yelling at us. You'll see this guy at Wiley ISD School Board, who appears to still be the head of CARE for DFW in Austin, rail of us, call us Islamophobes and haters and racist. Intimidation, and then when it's too late to do anything, domination, which is what has already happened in England, in France, and in Germany. And it's also happening in Norway, Sweden areas as well. It worked in Europe, Michigan, yes, and Minnesota, yes, and New York, and now it's playing out in North Texas. The time to take a stand against this sinister plan is now. I agree with you, Congressman Self. Okay, real quickly before we get into this, IRSprob.com, IRSPROB.com. Where am I going tomorrow? I'm going to the offices of Randy Martin at IRSPROB.com, IRSprob.com. Randy's been my CPA for almost a decade now. He helps good people with IRS problems. He specializes in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Randy's an amazing tax planner. He's my friend. We met first in Sunday school about 12 years ago, and Randy's been a sponsor for almost 10 years now exactly. That's how much I believe in him, and he believes in me, and he's done my taxes for a decade now. It's insane to say how long it's been. If you want a great help with IRS problems, helping good people with IRS problems, call Randy Martin at 214-214-3000. That's 214-214-3000, or go to IRSPROB.com. And I just put up a tip today. Check out all the social media feed, my feed. I put up a tip today about, those outs and ins on your plumbing. Like right outside of your house, you have an out going out to the street and an in, and there's two openings. You got to check out my video on this social media channel I put out. Jim taught me about that. It'll prevent you from ever having sewage backing up in your house. Trust me, you got to watch that. But Due West has taught me everything. Jim Dutton, my friend, the host of Texas Home Improvement and the owner of Due West Foundation and Plumbing. Due West is the best. They've done all my plumbing. They've done all my grading, root shields, foundation work. When I got 17 feet of plumbing redone under my house several years ago, Jim did that, and they have to put up piers and stuff because your foundation could go bad after that because you can't pack the dirt in like it was before. So plumbing, foundation, concrete leveling, retention walls, you name it. If you want the best, call Due West. That's my alarm. If you want the best, call Due West, 972-406-0912, 972-406-0912, or go to du-west.com. That's du-west.com. Okay, my alarm went off. I'm now pushing the limit because I got to go celebrate my son's birthday, so hang tight. This guy, when we were speaking for the second or third school board meeting, Wiley ISD, as you know, hopefully, passed out. They allowed 4 adult professional proselytizers with a group called Why Islam to come into Wiley ISD in the middle of a school day and pass out Qurans, hijabs, and understanding Sharia pamphlets into the school. This lady, I believe, is chiefly responsible for allowing it. She's not been punished. Where is she? Tiffany Doolin, the principal of Wiley ISD, and until she is fired, until others are fired, but she's really the one that needs to be fired. Until she's fired, there ain't nothing going to happen. Nothing's going to change. So we speak out. We're going to be speaking out again later this month. And when we went last month, this guy spoke out. And he just seems like some innocuous Muslim guy, but he's not. He appears to be, to this very day, the head of CARE, and he didn't tell anybody anything. And also, my colleagues there at Wiley ISD, the parents and some of the students, said they actually think he was intentionally covering up who he is. Watch this speech he gave. I cut it up to make it less. It's about half the length that it was, but watch this.
Saeed, Farzan, Saxi.
Adults who are here, who've been saying the most radical, racist, extreme, negative, god-awful, un-Christian, un-American nonsense for the last 2 school board meetings. Those people should be absolutely ashamed of themselves for the racism and open bigotry. You know, when I was growing up, I learned that men were lynched in America. I learned that Japanese were put into internment camps. I learned that people were targeted for their race and religion. And I grew up in a country that welcomed everybody.
He's a liar. He grew up in Pakistan, Lahore, Pakistan. Pakistan welcomed everybody like Osama bin Laden. The Pakistani army hosted and housed and hid Osama bin Laden. La, 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 la. Pakistan hates Jews. Pakistan has tons of terrorists and likes terrorists. Pakistan beheaded freaking Daniel Pearl from the Wall Street Journal. A terrorist went in there and slaughtered Daniel Pearl and beheaded him. And I'm friends with one of his former colleagues at the Wall Street Journal, Azra Namani, who now works at Fox News. And she's an amazing friend. I'm going to have her on in the near future. Pakistan hates Jews. Pakistan has madrasas and supports terrorism and Osama bin Laden. And this guy's lecturing us. Let's go back. This guy, who didn't tell us he was the head of CARE for DFW and Austin, at least he still has it on his LinkedIn bio. Listen to this guy rip us and act like we're racist and calling us Islamophobes and racists.
For the racism and open bigotry. You know, when I was growing up, I learned that men were lynched in America. I learned that Japanese were put into internment camps. I learned that people were targeted for their race and religion. And
Shame, 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 guilt, guilt, guilt. You're a racist, Islamophobe. Hate, hate, hate. He's the one preaching hate. If you don't like here, get out. I come from a great country that welcomes everybody. Pakistan.
I grew up in a country that welcomed everybody. That type of racism and discrimination happen. I see that happening here in Wiley, and I see that type of extreme racist bigotry and hatred being
extreme racist bigotry and hatred. Like hosting terrorists who kill Jews, who slaughter Jews, who burn people alive, who rape women, and all sorts of stuff in the name of Islam, who have madrasas, teaching people to become terrorists.
Pushed by these radical people. And I'll tell you about your radical hatred that you've been pushing in this school district. And push again is the worst type of racism that you can imagine. All you need to do is replace the word Islam and Muslim with blacks, Hispanics, Jews.
This guy, listen to this guy.
All you need to do is replace the word Islam and Muslim with blacks, Hispanics, Jews, Christians, and anybody else, and the racism becomes absolutely obvious and obvious.
Who is this fool? This fool is, according to his LinkedIn bio tonight, still is, and is the head of CARE for DFW. CARE is a terrorist organization properly labeled by our governor. This guy is the head of CARE in DFW in Austin. He wore a red hat. Some of my folks at Wiley ISD believe that he did that to cover up who he really is. And he called us all racist and hating black people and hating this and hating that. Shame, shame, shame. My country of Pakistan that housed bin Laden, that supports terrorism and hates Jews and wants to slaughter them. My country is welcoming. This is Islamist rhetoric at its finest, and I'm not surprised he's the head of CARE, a terrorist organization, as dubbed by our governor, and as I laid out, why? Because they are a co-conspirator, unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in U.S. history. They're the head of CARE regaled at the October 7th terrorist attack, the breaking of the ceasefire by Hamas, attacking Israel and slaughtering Jews, 1,200 of them, raping the women, raping children, raping girls, chopping their breasts off and playing with them while they raped them and gang raped them, shooting them in the head after gang raping them in the streets of Israel. This is what the head of CARE, Nihad Awad, celebrated. He said they were breaking off the shackles, and Israel had no right to defend itself when they violated and raped and killed and did the mayhem and kidnapped and killed 46 Americans. You're going to listen to this guy? I got a little more on him. Here we go. He was featured in some woke leftist magazine, Voyage Dallas. My name is Faisal Syed. I'm the executive director of the Texas chapter on Council on American Islamic Relations in Austin and DFW. I was born in Lahore, Pakistan. There he is. That's the guy who was saying that you and I are a bunch of racists if we don't want professional Islamist proselytizers coming in and passing out Qurans, saying that Jesus it doesn't matter, and telling your son to become Islamic and to pray the Shahada card to receive Muhammad as your savior and become a Muslim. Here's the Shahada card that they passed out that was in the Qurans. So this guy is bullying, terrorizing, but this guy is bullying and calling people racist and intimidating and attacking those who don't support the Islamization and the forced conversion. Well, forced because a kid can't leave a district. The kid can't walk out of school. A forced attempt to convert your child. And then I interviewed another parent in Wiley ISD. She's an amazing woman. That post with her went viral. Her speaking at that same Wiley ISD school board meeting, they tried to convert her son aggressively in 8th grade. He was trying to become a Muslim, and he was disobeying his parents and being horrible in treating his mother and his daughter because he was learning Islam. Parents were forcing their son, pushing their son to make him an Islamic convert in the school, so she pulled him out and is homeschooling them. She has 2 other kids. They're in Wiley East, and they're staying for now. And there's Marcos Lopez, one of the fathers, who says, of the Wiley ISD students, Marcos, you and I and all of us that are speaking at these things and they're standing up against us are racist homophobes from this dirtbag who is the head of CARE in DFW and Austin, and I am not surprised. So guess what, brother? If you come speak, you can come and speak. We're going to be speaking there next time, and guess what, brother? I'm going to make sure that everybody knows the guy who says we're racist, if you're still there that night, is, and I know we can't call people names directly. I'm not going to do that. I don't do that. But the guy who says we're racist is here again tonight. If he speaks, I want you to know he's the head of CARE, which is a terrorist group, according to our governor, and CARE is an unindicted co-conspirator in the largest ever terrorism fundraising case in U.S. history. That's who's saying this crap. That's who's trying to bully us. That's who's trying to shut us up, and that's the game they play. Let's see what else I got here. I got a little bit more. I got to rush. My son's birthday, and thank you, Marcos, for saying happy birthday to my son. I'll do this tomorrow. All right, I'm going to roll. But one more thing from Jack Fink tonight, CBS 11. He's a great guy. He used to work with his wife. She's a sweetheart. And 2 things. Yeah, Jack Fink from CBS 11 said tonight, the city of Grand Prairie has released a statement about the letter from the governor's office. The city of Grand Prairie reached out to the governor's office and is in discussions with them regarding this matter. Yeah, you will heal or you will be forced to pay. And if they have this Islamic-only water park thing, I'm going and I'm going to wear a kippah a yarmulke, skull cap, and I'm going to wear a Jewish star, a big fat one over here, even though I'm not Jewish. I will stand with my Jewish brothers and sisters. I will invite my friends who are Jewish, and we will go to this thing, and I'll be recording stuff and talking to people. This crap ain't going to stand. This is Texas. This is America. If you don't like it, if you want to violate our religious liberties and civil rights, then get out. Don't Islamify our Texas or DFW. This show brought to you by IRSprob.com. That's IRSPRB.com, helping good people with IRS problems, specializing in IRS controversy, IRS audits, and tax planning strategies. Go to Randy Martin, like I do. I'll be there tomorrow. I'll see you tomorrow. We'll be a little bit more slow and expanded.